Alrighty, welcome back to Boruto Anime Review Episode 200! Yes, the first anime review series to reach this big number, 200. Wow, and it's also by far the longest anime review series I have. Out of all the interviews I've done, this is basically the longest one I've ever done. Because I have been reviewing this series since episode 1 that came out in March of 2017. That is how far back basically I've been doing this. And the thing is, when I started the series, let me think here. I think it was just after, I just finished up Naruto Shippuden at that point. And I was working on Bleach. And this was, of course, 4 years ago. That I was working on Bleach at that point when I was bench watching it. So I was watching Bleach while I was watching this series. Yes, and I have watched all 200 episodes, all subbed. I have not watched any episodes dubbed. The only dub material I have done for this particular franchise, for Boruto, is just the movie. I own some of the Boruto DVDs. I just not have a chance to watch them yet because I want to finish watching Shippuden first. Which I will maybe eventually get back to that. Eventually. Sometime in the future, I might get back to watching Naruto Shippuden. That, or maybe Funimation might get a chance to release the dub on their channel, on their streaming service, especially since they got the original Naruto anime. Yeah. Now, this episode is quite unique. Now, this one does finish adapting Chapter 34 of the manga. Now, this one's called Becoming an Apprentice. It's called Apprentice per se. But, yeah, that's the name of the episode. Apprentice. Yes. Now, if it happened for the pandemic last year, and the fact this series took a month off, I think they took a month off in May of last year, if I'm not mistaken. This episode probably would have came out probably in March. Because that would have been the perfect time, because, well, it would have been the 4th anniversary of the series. Yeah, because it has been 4 years since the series started. And as of right now, this series has put out almost as many episodes as the original Naruto anime. Yes, almost just as much. Like, could this series possibly break that record? I don't know. At the rate the show's going at? Yes, I do think it's possible that this series will break the record. It was 220, so at the rate this is going at, I think this will definitely break that particular record, because it's basically 20 episodes away from breaking the record of the original Naruto series. And, well, I definitely think so. Now, with this episode, there is some original content here, and there's characters cut from the chapter who are in the chapter but not in the episode itself. Now, all the characters who appear in the chapter do appear, except for 2. They cut out Shikadai and they cut out Chosho. Yes, these 2 do appear in the chapter, but not in the episode. Nope, they replaced them. They add Konohamaru to the episode, and, well, they also added Sasuke. And he was not in the episode. Also did make some visual changes, a lot of visual changes. This one starts off with Kawanagi. Well, this starts off technically back at it. Technically, we're at the Hokage Mansion per se. That's what this is commonly called, the Hokage Mansion, or the Hokage office. I don't really remember. They never really identify what this building is. It could be the Hokage Mansion. I'm not sure. I know that Tsunade herself actually stayed in this place when she was the Hokage. Not Naruto. Nope, he never does live here because he has his own house because he got family. The only Hokage who technically never lived in the actual building itself was Minto. Yeah, Minto never lived in this place. I think Kakashi did, though it's never really shown if he ever did. So, we do have a minor cut here of, well, we see Kawanagi has got, well, basically a piece of metal here for a prosthetic. And of course, they can't exactly mention, though, that, well, prior to this, well, they start to, well, give him a prosthetic, and of course he had infused with his own chakra, because this particular device was made specifically for him, and of course that's what gets on him. And we also have we also have an anime original scene that comes right after that. We have Naruto's office with Shikamaru, Sai, and Sasuke. And it is something, though, to see all three characters. And this is just by sheer coincidence. All three characters, the first name, all begin with the letter S. Wow, that is quite something. So, of course, Shikamaru is not very happy with what happened. So, he pretty much added, like, particular security to keep an eye on him. And who does he turn to? Konohamaru. Yeah, someone who's not been seen in the last of episodes. Well, they actually give a reason for his absence, because sometimes when it comes to this, they usually don't give a reason why a character's been absent for a certain period of time. Case in point, wrestling does this all the frickin' time. They actually give a reason why. He was grieving for Minotu's death. Excuse me, yes. Yeah, he was grieving over his death. He was basically taking time off to grieve over his best friend's death. Which, yeah, that's actually a pretty good reason why he wasn't there a lot of the time. In the manga, they never explicitly explain exactly what the heck he was in this period of time. At least the anime bothered to explain it. So, he has no problem keeping an eye on Kiwanaki. He's asked to, so, okay, I'll do it, no problem. And then we see, let's see, what else is it? Oh yeah, we also see Sadara training with Sasuke, learning the Chidori. This sequence is complete anime original. This never happened in the manga. And of course, she has trouble. Of course, he has to go back to the Kage office. This is probably sets up a future episode for the series, with Sasuke and the mission going to see Naruto. Meanwhile, though, at the car HQ, we actually added a lot of stuff here, and a lot of changes here. Oh, lots of changes. Points of view, where characters are coming from. They actually move a particular object for this particular scene. First thing we see Baro getting his makeup. Bless you! You're welcome. He's getting his maintenance, and of course, well, Amando doesn't find anything. He walks off, and then of course, Code is talking to Amando later about, well, possibly about a traitor, and of course, Baro doesn't think he points himself out that he is not the traitor because he's loyal. He's loyal to Jaga, and he's interested in the vessel. He's not interested in betraying this place. So, there's that. And then right afterwards, we see Delta's drone show up, and then we see it in this pillar and sort of downloads. One can tell Delta's conscious to a brand new body. Well, at least it gives kind of an explanation of how the heck she's around later. Though, they do change something here. Yes. Because we actually have her all destroyed the lid, which she did in the manga too. But here's something unique, though. In the manga, she just says a line, and she's standing in a different position. Because she says, I'm going to kill Naruto Uzumaki. Now, here's the thing. They actually changed where she was standing for this. Because, see, in the manga, she was lying down where she said this. In the anime, she's standing up and facing Armando. And then she steps out. Has some of her dialogue is mostly the same as in the manga, except they changed it a bit. They later see her leaning against the wall, not sitting at a table, just leaning against the wall. Her basically chatting with Baro and Code about the possible what's going on, what happened. Of course, she basically botched the mission. And then, of course, they argue for a bit, and then Jaga pops in. Now, this is different from what was in the manga, because when you first see him, you see him from the back. Here, he just comes out the corner. And, of course, she points out to Jagan that she thought that only him and Kiwanaki has got the karma. She says there's actually somebody else who does. And he's like, what? And he said, and of course, Ko thinks, is it Sasuke Uchiha? She says, nope, it's Boruto Uzumaki, the Hokage's son. And of course, they mentioned that Kiwanaki protected Hokage, his daughter, from the blast. And of course, Dragon's like, interesting. So Momoshiki's got his own vessel. This is something to investigate. So even though, yeah, sure, basically her mission to retrieve Kwanaki was a failure, she did bring back some valuable intel. Does she get punished for this? No, nothing happens to her. In case you're curious, though, this is not changing the manga. Yeah, everybody's mostly leaning against the wall. No, the only person sitting is Code. Yeah, he's the one who's sitting, and they actually do make a slight change of Borrow, because in the manga, he's got his hood up. In the anime, he doesn't. He does not have his hood up at all. They took it off. And then, like, right after that, well, then, of course, we finished up the car stuff, which, great scene, directed really well, and I love the changes they made here. It made a lot of sense. Cut back to the village, where we have, well, before the whole training with Sadara comes up later on here, basically, Kawanaki's at the Uzumaki house. Now, this sequence is most presented the same here. Also, I forgot to mention here, when Kawanaki is presented with the prosthetic arm, here's the thing, in the manga, the first time we see it, it's actually on his bed. In the anime, it's in Naruto's hand. Okay, I don't mind that change at all. It's okay. It doesn't really harm the episode itself. It doesn't really cut anything really major. I mean, the panel when they first show this, there's like no dialogue for Kwanaki, so you're not missing anything. So we have Kwanaki, when he asks Naruto that he's interested in, well, you're learning about chakra, so he has to return test ninjutsu. And he's like, fine, you become my student. So, then of course, pretty much like right after that, they start sparring. And of course, you have to use your chakra, not, well, your karma. And then of course, it shows them doing the shuriken throw, which this whole sequence is completely unoriginal. They actually didn't show this in the manga. And after doing a day of training, and of course Sada with her training too, and then they just Momoshiki there, Mitsuki there, of course without Ninja Headband. Of course they're just there for relax day off. My guess they wear Ninja Headband when they're on missions, but on the day off they probably don't have to wear them. Not in the case of Naruto. Whenever you see him, like if you watch the original anime, he wears his Ninja Headband like every episode he appears in. I mean, the only time you actually don't see him wearing a headband on his head, and this is my personally, whenever you see him in bed, well, he wears a sleeping cap on his head. He's always got something on his head a lot of the time. That's how he was depicted both in the original Naruto series. So, they have the whole thing where they get cards. Of course, Quan gets a card too. Now, this sequence is presented mostly the same, except they removed Shikidai and Shocho for the scene. Yes, my guess is the reason why they're moving them, and this is probably a good reason. Probably not necessary for them to be here. That's just my personal theory. It's kind of odd, the fact that they're not here, but there's no explanation of why they're not here in this scene. I mean, Shikamaru's in this episode. Why isn't his Sunday episode? At least the case of Sadara, she's doing better than sitting down next to Chocho. She actually got back from her training, and of course they have the card exchange. And here's something you might find interesting, though, about the cards here. Naruto's looks very similar to how he presented in the actual, like, manga. They did a minor change this one. They kept it a little bit closer to how he presented in the manga. When they last saw this card, it looked a little different per se than him just showing the peace symbol. We actually have him doing a ninja hand sign. And we also see the fourth Hokage. And his card actually gets an upgrade, similar to upgrade what they did with Naruto, which is actually pretty cool. And of course, Boruto and Kawanaki swap cards because Naruto mentions that basically Chakra can help build emotional bonds. Though that did not lead to basically him falling in with Hinata, that was something natural. And then of course they go back home, and of course they have Kawanaki finish the vase, puts water, like, piece missing. And then we have a very interesting ending to the episode. He's about to open the door. Of course, the prosthetic arm is on the table. And then hear somebody say, "Hey, kid, where do you think you're going?" And he turns around. And it's Kurama! Yep, making his first appearance in the series. It's episode 93. Wow. Seeing him pop up in this series, that is amazing. This is probably by far the first. He's actually making an appearance in this series since that episode. So people have to wait 107 episodes since his last appearance to date. And now we see him again. Great. I thought with this episode they might stop with the adaptation, but you got to have put that up to 35 for next week. Yeah, but here's the obvious question though, like, where are you going to stop when it comes to adaptations? That's a really good question. Because next week is called Empty Tears. Excuse me. It's slightly possible we might see, well, the actual, well, let's just say, probably, and this is my personal theory, my guess is that we probably will get a chance to see, like, this, with probably stopping the adaptation of the manga, probably with next week's episode. It's possible, but it all depends upon what Para wants to do with this one. Okay, moving on to the newest chapter of the manga. Yes, we have a new chapter called The Right Job. Yes, that is the name of this chapter. The Right Job. Well, first you have this wonderful cover image of most of the characters who appear in the Boruto series. Let me basically turn it side here. Basically, on this cover, we see Sadara, Sasumori, Inojin, which they actually have it wear a completely different outfit here. Mitsuke, Chocho, Shikadai, Sasuke, Boruto, Kawanaki, Shikamaru, Naruto, though the coloring is not the right. They changed the coloring for his outfit in the anime. Armando, Code, Eda, and that's it. It's a great cover, and well, I think that let's see. I think it's not Kishimoto who does his artwork. This is Miko Inaminto. So the chapter starts off at the Uzumaki household, where Boruto is being told by Naruto that there's this drug that can suppress the Akatsuki, like the Akatsuki functions, and he of course tells about it, like it's not tested properly, and he just takes like, no real taste, and he's like, hey, you were not listening at all? I was. Didn't you say I got this side? Suddenly, and suddenly, just think out carefully. What's with the flash vision? It just happened to be quick. I mean, we won't know their effect, or at least, or if they even have any unless I try them out, right? Never mind, Will. You feel sick or weirdo. Nope. Here's this. We're talking about his karma scene. It's just a great scene. I think it's great for those. And of course, then he talks to Kawanaki. Now, this is something I don't like here. Now, for some reason, Boruto still has Sasuke's ninja headband, the one with the slice bit that Naruto did at the end of the part 1 of the manga. Do not know why he still has this. I would have thought, though, he gave it back to Sasuke because he has a ninja headband. Why the heck is he wearing Sasuke's? I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Boruto was not a rogue ninja. Sasuke was the rogue ninja, not Boruto. So why is he wearing Sasuke's ninja headband? Don't know. We see Mitsuke, probably for the first time in quite a while in the manga, well, when on a mission, we see him wearing his ninja headband. And, of course, they argue for a bit about the meds. As well, what the plan Karma's code, the Karma Code's body, and then you die before it costs a wash. I thought of that. I thought it was hypothetical of yours. The guarantee would work. Look, I know how strong this code guy is. We have a chance to win against him. No way, don't we? And Sasara says, stop tells him to be quiet. Hear the train, stay focused. And then we see Konohamaru just watching. Sheesh, Kawanaki, no team spirit. And he's like, I thought it was clear. You were no match for Code. That's why we're training you a little better. And of course, because of the training, all the meditations, like screw this. And he switches to combat. Yep. Mario's like, what the heck? Nice block moment, Mitsuki. You got a problem, just like I thought. I see. Training through actual combat. Person that can go either way. And of course, Konohamaru was like, how dare he? And of course, Naruto stopped and just watched Lord 7th. It's something, though, the fact that Konohamaru, who's known Naruto for a long time, and I would think, though, they're just talking to each other. He could easily call him Naruto. Nope, just call him Lord 7th. I mean, I get maybe Sadara call him Lord 7th, but Konohamaru's known Naruto for a long time. Why can't he just call him by his first name? I have no idea. So, and of course, well, Sadara doesn't like this at all. Don't make decisions. Don't forget, I'm the captain of this team. He's like, I was honed by Jaga ever since I was a little brat. Most of us were the grueling combat drills. Yeah, basically doing Jaga, and of course they presumes a sparring match with Mitsuki. Extreme logic, pretty dumb. Stop whining, come at me. Enemies don't wait around, you know. He's like, alright, I'm mad. You're gonna... And of course she does her fireball jutsu right at him. And of course Sadara, and of course Kawaki blocks it. And of course Sadara throws some shuriken at him, which doesn't do much anything. And of course Kawaki comes right behind her and like Shao doppelganger. And of course he's stopped by Boruto. He's like, that's enough. What are you thinking? Chill out. Just sparring. No one's gonna die. You're the one who's too serious. Why are you so flustered? Me? Flustered? Don't use talking to Boruto. You need to show him by force. Sadara. Okay, don't butt in all, right? He's mine. So they agree to have, basically, a brief sparring match. Yep, if I lose, keep training through actual combat. If I win, do my way. I'm in. What the heck? What do you think they're doing? Yep, and they start their fight. They stare at each other, and they punch, beat the crap out of each other, which, and of course, they fight. Where Sengon, great pacing this one. He has thunder, lightning style, thunderclap arrow, shocks him. I win. This time at least. Ain't complaints. Game over. I hope there's semi-rush. That here. Predator 70 if I'm in sorry stay. There's one thing that's definitely changed we first met. I can definitely tell. I can tell what you're thinking now, more or less. Carrying all of yourself. Yes, more. We're your friends. You have to be responsible for Kara targeting Konoha and his father. It's not really your fault. Either way, we can't leave the bad guys free to do whatever they want, right? That's what Shinobi do. You like that, aren't you? And of course, I think it's like Naruto says, Luka sounds all grown up. He's not like he used to, Lord 7th. It's like, whatever, you know. Big lines like that would sound better coming from somebody with more reliable. I can't believe he said that he lost. What a bad attitude. Well, can't be helped. Stick with you longer, and with your way of doing things. Fool, you're the one. We're the ones put up with you. Yep, and of course Naruto thinks, go for all of you. You may get a lot stronger. All right, resume training starting now. And then of course Kawanaki just stares at his hand, turns to a fist, and that's the chapter. Great chapter. It definitely does progress basically what's been going on in the manga. Yeah. An excellent chapter. I give this chapter roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. And I can't wait for the next chapter. Next month. I think it's like June 20th it comes out. Yep. So yeah, that's it for particular view, and that's it for videos today. Stay tuned for my excuse me. I think like the only video I'll probably do tomorrow is maybe if I get time to, I might do Doctor Who tomorrow, like doing what the new one I got right now. I probably work on that tomorrow because I don't have time to do it tonight. So until you see you tomorrow, bye.